Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn the laws of exponents. This is one of the important chapters in algebra. So we're going to learn about that. But let me tell you, before you learn algebra's this particular chapter, you need to know the below topics. You need to know the properties of multiplication and division. Of course, you need to know multiplication and division very well. Then you need to know fractions, the basic concept of fractions you have to know. And you need to know factors. What are the factors? You must have heard about factors and multiples. You need to know about factors. Then you need to know what is factorization. If you are not clear about any of these topics, then I suggest you to check in my YouTube channel to see what are the explanation of these topics, and then you come back to learn the laws of exponents. Even when you're studying it from your school or something like that, I suggest that you learn these topics well before you attempt to do exponents. Otherwise, you will get into frustration. You will not be able to understand. So, let's start with the understanding of what is exponents. Exponents means something of this form: a to the power of m, where a is called as the base and m is called as the power. Now, where children start having problem is when they don't understand the meaning of it. The meaning of this is a is multiplied several times. How many times it is multiplied? It is multiplied yum times. Like if I say a to the power of 3, that means a is multiplied 3 times. The common misunderstanding of children is they don't know what's the difference between a to the power of 3 and 3a. Okay? What is the difference between a to the power of 3 and 3a? 3a means a is added 3 times. A is added 3 times. A to the power of 3 means a is multiplied 3 times. This is a common misunderstanding children have. What do you mean by 3a? It is 3 times a. 3 times a is added. Mathematics you can learn by learning it in a language form. 3 times a is added. That is when it becomes 3a. Instead of adding several times, several times adding is called repeated addition. Repeated addition is like, it is called multiplication. Repeated addition is multiplication. But repeated multiplication gives you a exponent. Repeated multiplication gives you a exponent. Correct? That's the thing. Now, what is the other common misunderstanding students have about the exponents is they think that the brackets don't have any meaning. Say, for example, now if I write, 1 by 2, how do I expand this? They think that, okay, let me take, instead of 1, let me take 7. Okay, 7 by 2 whole power 3. What is the difference? How do we read this? 7 by 2 whole power 3. And children think this is same as writing like this. Let me explain what's the difference between these two. 7 by 2 whole power 3 means, as we understood the idea, the power means the base is multiplied that many times. The entire 7 by 2, 7 by 2 multiplied by 7 by 2 multiplied by 7 by 2. That is the meaning of 7 by 2 whole power 3. Now, what is the meaning of this? The bottom one is 7 times 7 times 7 over 2. Do you see the difference between these two things? Yeah, right? There is there is several twos in the bottom, more than one. Here there's only one. And obviously the resultant answer is going to be different. So the bracket, this bracket has a meaning. This bracket has a meaning. When we say 7 by 2 whole to the power of 3, that means for entire thing which is there in the bracket, the power 3 applies. Power 3 means what? The entire thing that is there inside the bracket is multiplied 3 times. Understand, is multiplied. Repeated addition is multiplication. Repeated multiplication is a exponent. I hope you remember this. Repeated addition is multiplication. Repeated multiplication is an exponent. Now, let's go to learn the laws of exponents. What is the first law of exponent? We will talk about two laws in this video. Rest we will talk about in the next part 2 video. The first law says a to the power of m times a to the power of n. Before I give what is the equal to, we will understand what is this. We ourselves will discover the law. Why should we learn from somebody? We want to we're going to discover the law. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of a to the power of m? A is multiplied several times. How many times? M times it is multiplied. Let me write this in a different color for you. Okay, you have a different exponent now, but it's the same a. But that a is multiplied n times. It goes on like this. It is multiplied n times. And now both of this is multiplied together now. Now what is happening? You're having m times and you're having n times. That means let's say m was 3 and n was 2. What is the meaning? A is multiplied 3 times because of this. A is multiplied 2 times because of the a power n. Right? Now, if you multiply these two together, what will happen? You can obviously see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A is multiplied 5 times. A is multiplied 5 times. So we can see that how much ever the m was, how much ever the n was, the total times the a is going to be multiplied is going to be the addition of those two. That means a power m times a power n is giving you a power m plus n. It is giving you m plus n. Very important to understand few other things. What is it? In this law, the base is same. Only if the base is same, and the next thing, when the two exponents are multiplied, that is when it becomes the power gets added up. Many children just memorize this particular law without remembering this concept. And I believe when you understand the concept and remember the concept, you don't have to do all the problems in the exercise, yet get good marks, right? So understand the idea behind it. The idea is this: something is raised to a certain power, and the same thing is raised to some other power. When you multiply those two things, you will see that from the first exponent, the base is multiplied that many times. From the second exponent, the base is multiplied that many times. When you join those two multiplication with a multiplication, what happens? You will see that the same base is repeating 3 times multiplied and again repeating 2 times multiplied. It means basically the a was repeated 5 times. When you understand this idea, the law becomes easier. So the base has to be same and the two exponents have to be multiplied. Then the power can be added and the base remains the same. Okay, understand mathematics in the form of a language. Again, let me repeat, a to the power of m times a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m plus n. What's the idea? Some exponent, some base is raised to a certain power multiplied by the same base raised to some other power. What will happen is that many times it's multiplied, again that is also multiplied with another number of times. So the final number of times the base will appear is the both the powers, when you add together, that many times the a is going to be multiplied, the base is going to be multiplied. This is the first law of exponents. Now coming to the second law, which is a to the power of m over a to the power of n. First, before we go to the what is the equal to of that, what is it equal to, we'll understand what is the idea behind this. Now we don't know how much, what is m, we don't know what is n, but there are three possible combinations that is possible, right? That is, m can be greater than n, or m can be lesser than n, or m could be equal to n. What is m? The number of times a is multiplied. What is n? N is the number of times a is multiplied, correct? So yet the number of times on the top could be more than the number of times on the bottom. Now if we go to this scenario, what happens? You are having many m's multiplied here. Many times the a is multiplied. Yum times the a is multiplied, and there are fewer times the a is multiplied in the bottom. When you know that the top has many a's multiplied, and when you have lesser number of a's multiplied at the bottom, what is the thing? We know that if something is like this, we can, by using the fraction multiplication, we know that this can be cancelled with this and this can be cancelled with this. It goes on like that. Now if m is more, obviously what is happening on the top, we are going to have the a's remaining, right? In the bottom, all of the things would have got cancelled. Now to understand how many a's will remain in the top, what was it? In the beginning, m times a was remaining. Now after the cancellation, how much is remaining? How much have we cancelled? N times we have cancelled. That means something was so much in the beginning and so much was cut. So many things was cancelled, was removed from the top because of the cancellation. So what is happening? That is the meaning of subtraction, right? You had m times a in the top, and out of that m times, n times you had to cancel. That means n times the a was removed. The process of removing is called subtraction. So on the top, you're going to have only m minus n times a will be remaining. Now, so when m is greater than n, the answer for this a power m over a power n will be m minus n. It's the same concept here. Now when the in the numerator, the number of times the m is there, the a is there, is less, whereas in the bottom you have many, more than m times, it is there. What is happening? Then again we do the cancellation. Of course we do the cancellation over like this. But what is happening? Because m is less, on the top the number of a's are less, obviously we will have a's remaining only in the bottom. On the top, all the things would have got cancelled. That means on the top, you just have a 1. If you know the cancellation, that's why I said you need to know the fractions. So only 1 will remain. Now to understand how many a's will be there in the bottom, understand in the bottom, in the beginning, we had n. In the beginning, we had n number of a's, and in the n number of a's, m number of a's was removed, was cancelled. So n was removed. When you say remove, it's a subtraction. So what is happening? It is n minus m times, that many times a is going to be there. Many students, many teachers, they stop till here. Now, whenever we talk about the comparison of two numbers, three cases are always possible. One is greater than the other, or the other is greater than the first one, or the third possibility is both of them are equal, right? So we'll also talk about what happens when it is equal. When it is equal, that means a, how many times the a is there on the top, m times, that same number of times, the same number of times, bottom also it is there. Again, we will go do the cancellation. You'll, all the things will get cancelled. Do you agree? Everything will get cancelled. It means what will remain on the top? Ones, 1, 1, 1, like that. The bottom also 1, 1, 1. That means what? Neither place, let it be in the top on the numerator or the bottom, the denominator, none of the a's are remaining. That means how many times a is there? 0 times. We know if we have to express that in the form of exponents, we write a, how many times the a is remaining? A is not remaining in the numerator also, in the denominator also. A is not there. So a is 0 times. It is not there. It's not there. How many times a is multiplied? 0 times a is multiplied. And from the same thing, you can understand what is the value of this? It is going to be 1 over 1. That is nothing but 1. That means you also learned one more law, that a raised to the power of 0 is 1. For that matter, the a can be anything. It can be 7 to the power of 0, that will be 1. 107 to the power of 0, that also is going to be 1. So from this one law, you could learn the next law as well. So understand these two ideas before you attempt the problems. I hope this helps. If you like this video, please do leave a comment that you liked it. And if you want certain topics to be covered, do leave me a comment so that I will take up those topics in my subsequent videos. I am here to make you all thinkers, math thinkers, and that's why I call myself as a thinking catalyst. I make my students to think. You understand the idea of mathematics. Mathematics is the idea, it's a language of thinking. If you learn to think, then you can do the problems on your own. You don't need anybody's help, you don't need any guides. That is the whole objective of creating this whole math series. Yeah, if you like this video, do share and subscribe to the channel so that when I'm putting up the videos that you are requesting me to put, you'll be notified, right? Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good time solving problems on the laws of exponents. See you. Bye bye.